Spain's government says 7,500 troops are being deployed to regions devastated by flash floods. It comes after growing anger at the official response to the disaster that has killed 217 people, at least. Furious, locals threw mud at King Felipe and Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez as they visited one of the worst affected towns. Rescue teams are still searching for survivors. The focus is now on a car park in Valencia's biggest shopping mall. Our correspondent Ken Brown joins us from there now. So, Ken, chaotic scenes yesterday and fears the death toll could rise even further. What's happening there today?
Yes, Paul, we're right downriver from Chiva, one of the worst hit towns in this torrent. It swept away houses on the riverbanks and came past here with such force that it washed away part of this bridge. As you can see, I'm sure you can hear behind me, the massive infrastructure works that are needed are only just beginning as they try to clear away that part of the bridge. Elsewhere in the Bonaire shopping centre in Valencia, the biggest mall in the Valencia region, they are pumping out the water from the underground car park. It has a space for some 2,500 cars. The latest we've heard is that they've searched 50 cars and they haven't found any casualties. Hopefully that good news will continue. The hope is that because it was Tuesday evening, that maybe there weren't as many people as might have been were it a day on the weekend, for example. We're hearing a lot of frustration on the ground. The authorities are struggling to put numbers on missing people. The military says that they have equipped a morgue for around 400 bodies. People are going to that morgue begging to see can they find their loved ones. The authorities are pleading with them to stay home and that they will be called if there is any news. That news coming too slowly for many people. The numbers, those deaths being confirmed quite slowly, as I mentioned. So, meanwhile, as you mentioned, the military, we're going to have some 7,500 troops on the ground over the next couple of days, particularly here in Valencia. But people say it's too late. They're really frustrated with the response here, and we're seeing coordinated protests being organised in all the major cities across Spain on the 9th, 10th and 15th of November.
And Ken, this may not be the end of the flooding misery. A red alert weather warning issued for Barcelona now.
Yes, well, that red alert warning has actually ended now. That happened earlier today between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. coming from AMET. That's the Spanish meteorological agency. We had really heavy rains that has caused some travel chaos. Roads are flooded and closed. Trains can't pass. The airport also has been affected. We've seen some flooding there, some videos on social media. At least 50 flights have been either cancelled or delayed, and that is set to continue throughout the day. That's to add to the 150 kilometres of roads in Valencia that are currently unpassable. Now, elsewhere, as I mentioned, we've seen some of those videos of cars floating in the south of Barcelona, in Sitges, for example, and 4 regions are still under weather alerts. So this hasn't passed yet, this cold snap, this gota fria, or cold drop as they call it here in Spain, that's dropped so much rain and caused so much chaos. We've seen the leader of the opposition party, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, call for Pedro Sanchez to call a national emergency so that he can take over control from Carlos Mazón and the Valencian regional government. One of the reasons that people are so angry is that the national government and the regional government haven't communicated well, they haven't coordinated well, they come from different political parties, and politics has got in the way of the response here, Paul.